Welcome to Hispanic in America, the podcast. I'm Daisy Cedeño, and today we're going to interview Famor Botero, a Colombian filmmaker with a purpose.
Thank you for the invitation. What a pleasure to be with you. How are you today?
Doing great. And tell us a little bit about your story and the film that you presented in the festival in Palm Beach County.
Sure. Thank you so much. So I am a Colombian-born filmmaker, but I went to school at Olympusat, which is here in Florida, and graduated about 4.5 years ago. And the documentary that I had at the film festival is now my sixth production. So okay. I've been definitely very busy.
Wow. Okay. And how did you start in the whole industry?
Well, I was actually an actor, a child actor, and wow. There's a lot of people in my family that are actors, actresses, and when I was in Colombia, I think I was about 12 years old. My mother took me to watch The Never Ending Story, which became the very first film that I watched. Yes, that I watched on the big screen. And I didn't really understand what a filmmaker did, but I told my mother when I was 10 years old, I want to do that for a living. I want to put that up there so that people can come to this place and watch it. And ever since, that's been my life dream and my goal and my mission.
Is it hard to get into this kind of business? I mean, there's so much competition in the film industry.
I think it's a difficult business. I knew that I wanted to build a very artistic foundation as an artist, and that's why I did theater. I did theater for 10 years.
Oh wow!
Theater for 10 years. I said, okay, I'm going to stop and I'm going to get educated. I'm going to go to university and I'm going to learn all the technicalities about filmmaking because I was already very artistic in my ways, and that's why I decided to go to Full Sail. And I had a very awesome career up. I received a lot of support from my teachers and from the film directors, and they just noticed my passion. And that very first week of school, I told them where I was going and what I was going to do with my life and how I was going to use film to inspire people. And they believed me. So, 4.5 years later, that's what I've done. All my productions have had that message, so it's pretty exciting for me.
There's a boom right now with the Latino community being part of Hollywood.
There is.
What do you see? What do you see in the future?
I am definitely working very hard to put myself at a position where I can start to bring my productions into Hollywood so that they can be part of the Academy per se. We all want to make films that have or at least get that recognition from other people in the industry, so that you work so hard on building your career and learning from the best, and learning also on how to cultivate your own art so that people can see how original you are. So in the future, I see us getting nominations for the Oscars, and I see us playing with the big people because that will indeed open other venues for me to continue to inspire the world.
Exactly. And we don't only do novelas, soap operas. We do other stuff.
Exactly. Well, I think that one of the have learned, and I learned this about 2 years ago when I first received a national interview with CNN. I was doing an interview for them, and during that interview, people started sending me messages through my social media. And after the interview, still for a month after, I received thousands of messages, and they were from all over the world. Yes. And they were from people who were very young, or in school, or what have you. And they kept telling me, you have no idea how much you inspire me. You're inspiring. How can I follow you? How can I? And I thought to myself, see, that is why God has given me this window of opportunity to make films, because there's this other side of me that wants to inspire the youth to be their very best, and that wants to inspire the working class of this country to try to to still believe that there's a better future and all of those things. So that's always my message, for us to reevaluate our lives and to really understand and look, and if there's changes that we need to make so that we can live better lives, then we need to make those changes, and we shouldn't be scared of change. Change is tough.
Yes.
But change is something that we need to adapt to so that we can continue to better our lives.
Yes.
So I think film is just a little part of who I am,
Well, I love your energy. You have a lot of creativity too. Where do you find your inspiration?
I have to tell you, my mother is my biggest inspiration.
Oh.
She has lived a tough life, and she always shares of her child, and was a very machista guy. So everything my mother wanted to study, he wouldn't let her. He wouldn't let her be an actress. He wouldn't let her be this. He wouldn't let her be that. He just wanted her to be the typical stay-at-home kind of mom, for her future. And so my mother's dreams were kind of crushed on top of her. She wanted to do this and that and travel the world. And she was into acting, dancing, and she was never able to do any of those things.
Oh, wow.
So I feel that time she sees me fulfilling my dreams, it's like a part of her is fulfilling her own dreams. So I take my inspiration from her. I see in my mother a lot of mothers, a lot of the working class mothers out there who are supporting their kids, who are working hard to continue to feed their families and do a lot of things. So I definitely have to tell you that my biggest inspiration is my mother.
Wow, wonderful. Okay, so you were in the film festival in Palm Beach County in Florida. That was last April.
Yes.
Tell us a little bit of what happened and what was your film about.
You know what? It was a great time. The Palm Beach International Film Festival has become my home. This is the second time that I do a festival with them. And last year I brought a film on immigration reform with a Mexican actress who passed away a month before I premiered, Lorena Rojas. I don't know if you know who she is.
Yes.
But I had this film. Yes. My film became her last production.
Okay.
So we premiered at them. But this year I brought on a very special project. So I read a book called My American Dream, and it talks about the story of a Spaniard little girl who left Spain from a very poor village, and she left Spain because she was always in pain since she was a little girl, and she became a doctor trying to find out why she was in pain, why she could never live a normal life, why pain was just part of her daily life, And the film talks about a disease which is arthritis. And the reason why I made the documentary is because a lot of people associate arthritis with old age. But it turns out that arthritis happens to children who are sometimes months old, a year old.
Incredible.
And so I decided that I almost felt that social responsibility as an artist to tell that story to the community, so that we can not only educate our communities, but so that we could also educate the medical community. Because what happens is when children are in pain, their parents go to the doctor trying to find out what it is, and it takes them an average of 2 to 3 years before a doctor will even consider rheumatoid arthritis as a diagnosis,
Incredible.
So, I think it's very important for us to continue to together try to educate ourselves, and I think film is just a powerful way to do it.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for being with us today. We wish you luck.
You got it.
I know you're doing a great job out there representing not only the Hispanic community, but also the new generation of filmmakers. Why not, right?
Exactly. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. And people can find me on Twitter by Famor Botero. That's Famor. Last name is Botero, Botero. And I will look forward to chatting with all of you again.
Fantastic. And what about a website? Do you have a website where we can see your work?
I do. Of course, my website is www.famorbotero.com.